Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio. Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
Powerhouse Paranormal Topics with the umpires. Only Sheena Metal.
That's right. It's Haunted Playground right here on LA Talk Radio. For more info on the show, hauntedplayground.com, latalkradio.com. Don't forget to email me and let me know what you think of the show. If you're looking for me online, it's so easy. I'm just at Sheena Metal everywhere. I'm also the founder of a movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity at IamRaisingTheVibration.com, and now at our new nonprofit hub, which is raisingthevibration.org. And I have my own spiritual practice. It's at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com and IamRaisingYourVibration.com. Please join us. And I am also a staff pastor at the Founders MCC Church in Hollywood. I have a new night there, an interfaith service called Saturday Night Spiritual. Please visit us at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. I think our next date is July 20th. So we just did our first show last Saturday, June 15th, and it was lovely and so excited. As you know, every week on Haunted Playground, we do a format that I like to call Lightworkers Unite. I bring together another lightworker or lightworkers that I love, and we sit here on the air and we do readings and healings and spiritual counseling, and it's more fun than a barrel of monkeys. So if you want to get on the show with us, all you have to do is send me a text message, 818-437-0886. I will get you in the system, and we will call you and help you out with all of your helping needs. And joining the Lightworkers Unite family, a dear friend of mine who's been on the show many times, been on all my shows at LA Talk Radio many times, but has never been part of Lightworkers Unite because we just created it. The wonderful Paul Jacek is here. Hello, my friend.
Hello, Sheena.
We did a fundraising event in Silver Lake for Muddy Paws, the Psychic Sunday Paw Raiser that my friend Peter Bedard puts together, a mutual friend.
Indeed.
And Paul was there, and I was so excited. And we wound up asking him right on the spot if he would like to join the Lightworkers Unite family.
And I said yes.
And so Paul and I, many years ago, when my mama was still alive, I was trying to put together a psychic collective called Angel City Spiritual Center.
Indeed.
I was not yet out of the closet. I was functioning from inside the closet, inside the psychic closet, and I was just going to run it, but not be one of the psychics. Paul was, Mom was. Our dear friend Jenny Stewart, who's part of the Lightworkers family, was. L.A. Weiss, part of the Lightworkers family, was. And then it just was the wrong time, wrong place. Mom got sick. That took a lot of my life. Mom passed. And then when Mom passed, she was like, tap, tap, tap. What about your psychic stuff? And sort of, I was already out of the closet by then, but she sort of propelled me into actually for real doing this. Meanwhile, Paul, who is also a very talented actor and comic and writer, you also took a bigger step in that direction.
I did.
And now you work at the wonderful Liberate.
I do.
In Los Feliz, which is beautiful. I love both of their shops.
And Hollywood. I'm there on Fridays.
Oh, you're in Hollywood too?
I lead a meditation on Fridays.
Oh,
at
that's
1 o'clock.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Such nice people.
Aren't they?
And it's beautiful shops. Gorgeous stuff. Los Feliz is particularly lovely people, I think.
It's a cute little hobbit hole,
Yeah.
full of lovely people. And we have 4 reading rooms, and we have an amazing staff of. It's like working at Hogwarts.
Yeah, sure it is.
Because we have past life regression therapists and energy healers, and
I love that.
a tarot reader, and essential oils and crystals, and
It's beautiful.
all your needs.
I was in there. Just looking at crystals, and I had forgotten that Paul worked there. And these girls come in, and they're I can only describe them as a Twitter. They're a Twitter, and they're running up to the desk, and they're giggling, and they're jumping up and down like they're going to see a Jonas Brothers concert. And they say, "Is Paul here? Is Paul here? We need to see Paul. We need to see Paul." And I'm like Paul, and she's like, Paul Jacek. And I start laughing because, I know Paul. And I'm trying not to be weird, like, oh, hey, Paul, I know Paul. And I'm thinking like maybe if Paul's here, I'll go say hi. But I didn't realize that Paul is it's like a Cher concert when Paul's working. So there was only one slot, and they both wanted a slot, and there was only one Paul slot left. And the two of them were like, trying to figure out who was going to take the Paul slot. And I was like, and I sent you a text right afterwards, and I'm like, good on you, buddy. That's That's exciting.
Yeah, it was. I'm going into my 4th year there,
Wow.
so it's grown beautifully, and I run classes, tarot classes, the art of tarot,
Beautiful.
and yeah, I've had that, and I'm still writing, and I'm still performing, and still
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
But
and there we are.
splitting our lives.
There we go.
And I think both of us for a while thought if we came out of the closet that would be the end of our entertainment careers.
I did.
But the opposite, people have been really embracing and
Absolutely.
really wonderful. And it's been such a natural progression.
Mhm.
And I think for me, the nonprofit and my ministry kind of tie the two together, the entertainment, the radio world, and the psychic stuff. So everything seems to kind of go together. And even when I was working at Founders MCC, which, you know, is very progressive, but very kind of, I call it Christian light. I was like, can I talk about being a psychic? And they were like, oh my God, yes, please. So it's just like feel like for the first time in my life, I live completely open with everybody knowing about all sides of me. And it's made me feel very calm inside and very beautiful. Two things before I tell the next story. So Lightworkers Unite kind of just happened. We did one once with Jenny. Jenny Stewart started it. We did one once. It just happened. And then I started inviting people. And so somewhere between so the long-term dream, I have a dream, is that at some point, Raising the Vibration will have its own little space where I can throw church. And then next to it will be a shop with readers and healers and crystals and all the things that I love. I already have my Good Vibrations crystal line. I've just started a month ago.
Cool.
And then that will become Angel City Spiritual Center, and it will be back.
There it is.
And then the dream is to then go and replicate that in my hometown of Huntington Beach, because I now live between both Sherman Oaks and Huntington Beach, and that will become Surf City Spiritual Center.
Nice.
And then I can just die happy and retire and just do that for the rest of my life. So that's the goal. But the really important thing is that way before anybody on this show pulled me out of the closet, you were the first person to ever do a reading on me. You, except my mom, but she didn't call them readings. She just called them, look,
Discipline.
kid, I don't like that weirdo you're dating. Discipline. Exactly. We were at a PF Chang's, and you asked if it was okay if you read me, and you were kind of in you were just starting to get back into it.
I was, that's true.
And you were the one that told me that this was the direction I was supposed to go in long before anybody did. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. And now here we are. So welcome to the family,
Well,
my friend.
Thank
you for everything, and welcome to the family.
Thank you, my goodness.
Again, I'm going to be putting the Facebook link around if you want to get on with us. 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886. Send me a text, and we will get you on with us. So really quick before we start putting people on, while I put the link around, what do you think when people come to you now for readings? What is mostly on people's minds? What do you think in 2019 people are most concerned about from an emotional and spiritual place?
It's interesting. I use this line and have for a long time that people come to me for 3 reasons: romance, finance, or hot pants. Where's my money? Are they coming back? Is this the one? So that's the broad view. But what I've seen recently, especially since the first of this year, is that people are just literally at their leash's end, emotionally and spiritually. And most of the time, they will sit down and they go, I'm not even sure why I'm here, but I was told that you could do this. And
I get that too.
This is, let's all take a deep breath and ground ourselves in what is real. We are so pressured with what's happening. And it is one of the reasons, which I don't know if we haven't talked about this, is that I went back to Founders. I found Founders, in Long Beach, maybe 20 years ago. And I remember when I was 10 years old in the paper about this man by the name of Troy Perry, who had been a priest that had been thrown out because of his homosexuality, and that he'd started a church. And I remember it. So when I found Founders, I just went in for a 9 o'clock service.
When you found it the first time?
No, this
recent time.
Because it's literally around the corner from Liberate.
Right. Yes, it is.
So I thought, well, I do like to go to church now. And we'll talk about this probably, the difference between religion and spirituality.
Yeah.
But I do think there's great value in gathering together with a like purpose. So I don't much care. I'm sort of a Buddhist, Episcopal, Jewish Wiccan, really.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So I went in, and it's a beautiful, they've done such a nice job, and it's a lovely chapel, built in 1920.
Reverend
and,
Keith is
isn't he just the best?
the most amazing thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he has literally changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
And I want to say that Saturday Night Spiritual, Paul and of course my wonderful partner in crime, Mary Kennedy, who plays opposite me in the Afterglow musical where I fell off the stage and hurt my knees, came and surprised me. You guys
Indeed.
totally surprised me. I had
Indeed.
no idea you guys were coming.
Well, because the week before in the bulletin, because I sneak in for the 9 o'clock service on Sundays, and there's usually about maybe 12 or 13 people. And when I looked in, I went,
that's the slow, more traditional one. The 11 o'clock is the bigger one.
Yeah, yeah. And I went, oh, Sheena's coming. So I thought, well, that's what we'll do. We'll just surprise her and come.
Now, were you surprised?
Was I surprised? Yeah, when I saw
That
it.
I was on staff there?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
went, my goodness.
No one's more surprised than me.
It is the most welcoming, most loving,
Yeah.
most.
It's exactly where I
truly-
belonged.
Truly, as my grandmother would say, the red letters of the New Testament,
Right.
meaning it
Yes.
was something that Jesus had said.
And like I talked about Saturday night, when I became a minister, the universe just kind of told me, you need to become a minister and you need to make Raising the Vibration a nonprofit in a Walmart parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And because that universe God has a sense of humor, Mama
Does it?
used to say.
Indeed.
And I didn't know how to get ordained. And then 2 weeks later, I was at the Improv, and somebody had brought Brian Carroll, who was the president of American Trinity, and he ordained me and is helping me through the nonprofit process. Is on my vibration council for the movement. Has become a very good friend. And then I thought, well, what do I do with this? And he's like, well, you're doing it. Raising the Vibrations, your ministry. And I thought, okay. But then people kept telling me, like, you need to start, especially the wonderful Steve Peters, who brought me into MCC, you need to start throwing some church. And I said, well, I am, I do these vibration gatherings, and that's really throwing church. And then I had two secret dreams. One was to work at the Center for Spiritual Living, and one was to work at the MCC somewhere. Those were my dreams. And now I'm now on staff at the Founders MCC in Hollywood, the where the MCC started, the big one. And this Sunday, the 23rd at 4:00, I'm doing a vibration gathering at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. Yeah, I met Reverend Mike McMorrow, who is the head guy over there at Betsy Chassey's Christmas party.
There you go.
So there is, and I say this so that you all know, and I said this Saturday so that you all know that manifestation is real, but it's not like, oh my God, why don't I have him yet? Where's my Maserati? It's not like you just sit and give the God is not your butler. You don't
Correct.
sit and give the universe a laundry list and then throw a temper tantrum when you don't have it right away. You just say, these are places where I would like to go. These are destinations I would like to land. And I'm going to start energetically opening up my life to ways that will eventually lead me to that thing. And then you let that thing happen. And you don't get all, but it better happen tomorrow. It better happen next Tuesday. You can't, because it never happens when you do that.
Yeah. Well, that allowing, or unfolding, which is my new favorite word. I have to stop and go.
I love that.
Let it unfold, because I'm so gung-ho busting it. Let's get this done. Well, that's my time. There is such a thing as timing. You
Yes.
should live your life as if there is no time. But
Yes,
there is
you
such a
should.
thing as timing.
Yes.
I've spent more time in lengthy meditation recently, because it has seemed, in my personal story, that I need more grounding than I ever have. It's crazy out there.
And the last couple of months with
Whoa.
the Mars conjunct Neptune and all that crazy, blobbity shit poo has just been unbelievably
Yes, indeed.
insane.
Well, this full moon in Sagittarius. Now, I'm not an astrologer, but I work with enough of them to understand there is such a thing. We talked about timing, but also the energy flow. I was watching, I think it was a science program talking about the solar flares that were sort of beating up the planet in May. And-
Oh yeah.
And
Yes, May
everybody
was
I
insane.
know, everybody I know had a really difficult time in May. So
May was like straight up crazy pants.
yeah, it was. And we're all kind of calming down from that. And then I'm in a personal window. 51 days before your natal birthday is always a pressured time.
Oh.
Then it's your birthday, which is, Happy New Year. And then 51 days after is really a harmonious or luckier time of the year.
Okay.
It's just as a natural flow. Well, I'm in that before window because I have a July birthday. So it's just been really intense.
Yeah.
So I've had to grab a hold of my spiritual practice with both hands and going, either this stuff works or it doesn't, and it does, but it will bring up all the stuff that you thought you could step around.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what is, well, I put our link out and get people on the line. What is something that you thought you could step around, and I'll put you on the spot if that's okay.
That's
and then
fine.
I'll do one.
Okay.
Something that you thought you could step around that you're now realizing I can't. Yeah. And I talk about this with clients all the time, Paul, the idea that it's not about moving past something. It's about moving through something.
Exactly.
Because if you push something to the side, if you move past it, it's still there and it's still festering and it's waiting for you. You have to literally go through it and have some completion with it and then come out the other side. And it doesn't still mean that sometimes you're not going to look back and say, oh, God, yeah, I still have a little bit of work to do on that. That's okay. But it's the idea that you're dealing with it as you go and you're moving through it, and through osmosis, it's moving through your system, and you're like with digestion, you're taking the things that you need from it and you're voiding out what you don't need.
Indeed.
And that, I think, is it's very important to process things that are a repeat lesson that you keep getting again and again, because we all have them.
Indeed. Well, and one of the reasons, and I know Steve, I've known Steve Peters for, I don't know, a number of years.
Steve Peters.
But he and I, and we need to finish that conversation. We giggle a little that we've gotten to this age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Neither of us expected to be this old.
Yes.
So we come from a time in life, especially here in Southern California. I never imagined I would live past 33.
Right.
Well, next month I turn 61.
You and Jesus.
Yeah, indeed. But all of a sudden, it's a different world.
Yeah.
And not that, gone are the days that you worked for the plant and then you at 65 retired and they gave you a gold watch and your pension.
Yeah.
None of that's happening.
Yeah.
So
there's no more plant.
Yeah. We all have to, much like entertainment now, create your own content.
Yeah.
So now what is it? What does my life look like now? So that's where I'm in the middle of, well, now what do we do? And not in a bad way. I'm still healthy, vibrant, alive. Although somebody the other day said, "Do you know who you look like?" And for years I've gotten Richard Dreyfuss, who is a favorite of mine.
Oh,
anyway.
I love that.
I said, "I know Richard Dreyfuss." He goes, "No, Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Oh, that's fantastic.
I thought,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
that's where we are. Yep.
That's where you're at.
I've
You
become
become
Santa.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I just think you still look like a leprechaun. So you'll always be a leprechaun to me.
Well, and you remember when I was a redhead, so there you have it.
And you looked even more like a leprechaun.
There you
I
go.
still see you as a redhead, even though you're not a redhead. I still see red. I see red everywhere.
In fact, this homeless guy the other day, I stepped past him and he was mumbling and he goes, "Hey, Cotton Top."
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
It made me laugh.
I see Irish people.
That's indeed.
I always do. Yeah, it's so for you, it's not living in sort of the now of my dialects year of actually starting to think about what the future is and what's going to happen now from now until the end of time.
Well, and the truth is that we have just about 100 years each lifetime. I work with an amazing man who's a past life regression therapist, and there's a lot of value in finding out what perhaps especially with fears or some issues or some karmic ties. But he's very much about, this is the life you were dying to live. So let's stay here. Let's work on what's happening here. But he said, isn't it interesting that you can't get it done and you're never going to get it all finished? But we all come with one issue that you just somehow can't get both hands around. And that's part of the fun.
And what is yours? Or is that not my business?
Well, let me think. There's a couple. One for sure is abundance and prosperity, and that's not uncommon for a lot of people.
Sure.
But especially when you are self-employed and in show business,
and have been pretty much your whole life.
Yeah,
as I have too.
The ebb and flow is amazing. And I watch people, and it's not accounting. It is much more of a spiritual issue. When I find things like. I had a dear friend of mine who said, "Don't tell yourself no. Let them tell you no." Because I would go, "Oh, you know what? They're looking for somebody 55 and under," and I wouldn't go to the audition. I'm like, they don't know what 55 looks like. I've worked on the other side in casting. Go show up.
Yeah.
So 90% of life is just showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and not being fearful.
A couple weekends ago, I went to DragCon, which was eye-opening in several ways because in my lifetime, the first gay bar I ever went to in 1976, there was a person at the end of the bar in a bad wig and some scary makeup and just vicious. And I thought,
God.
None of that.
That's like a David Lynch film.
It was when smoking, because they could still smoke back in bars then. And I thought, ooh, none of that. And then, in show business, drag queens were just below like mimes, San Francisco street mimes. So it wasn't really an elevated part of show business. But I will tell you what, Miss RuPaul has changed all of that. with Supermodel of the World in 1993, blowing the door. First of all, because he's beautiful, and second of all, he's 7 feet tall. So
And very
DragCon
sweet.
and adorable. I love him. But to go to the Los Angeles Convention Center, and between 40 and 60,000 people showed up for this. And what it was he's given permission for people to just, I love when people say, just let your freak flag fly. I was watching full families. I was watching, and the excitement of people when the contestant, RuPaul's Drag Race, when the contest winners and all of that, I do watch it. I don't watch it a lot. But also watching the heterosexual couples. Do you know that probably well over 80% of transvestites, and that is people who dress in the opposite gender's clothing, are heterosexual? And I was standing watching this couple, and this guy was big. He was bigger than I am and probably taller, wearing a Monster Truck Rally t-shirt and some sad shorts. And his wife, but what caught my eye is they were so intimate with each other. They were speaking and talking, and he was leaning down. He had a baseball cap on, but there was all this furtive glancing. And then she would take a dress, and there'd be discussion. And then I realized his arms were shaved, and I went, "Oh, they're shopping for him." And I kind of wanted to run over and go, "Honey, no, put it on. You just get pretty. You just
Yeah, exactly.
right. This is
Yeah.
okay. Right here, you can. This is completely phenomenal." It was just amazing. And I saw our friend Allison Arngrim.
She's such a good girl.
She was there, and her fans, the Bonnet Heads, showed up.
The
It
Little
was-
House people.
You bet. It was Allison was
And,
Nasty
and
Nellie
Allison
Olsen.
introduced me to Steve Peters. I would not be here now if it wasn't for him.
Well, see, we all are just 3
Yep.
steps away from each other.
And I told
so-
this story Saturday night. Hersha Parody from Little House, who played Merlin Olsen's wife
Right.
on the show. She was the one who, first of all, that poor woman was with me the night I got the call my mom was dying. We were having dinner at Baroni's in the Valley.
Oh.
So poor Hersha. But she was the one who came to my first vibration gathering and said, "Why are you not ministering somewhere? You should talk to Steve Peters and he'll get you a job at the MCC."
There you go.
So I called Steve and I'm like, "Hersha thinks you're going to get me a job at the MCC." We were both like, Then he introduced me to Keith. So so Little House on the Prairie saved my life,
There
which
you
is
go.
interesting because my mother was so connected to that show because my mother loved Michael Landon more than anything, and then she discovered they were both Scorpios, and
Well,
then
there
he
you
could
go.
do no wrong.
Mhm.
So that then I would wind up, and my mom, when I was little, always said that, you need to meet that Nellie Olsen girl because she's funny. And then I met Allison. Then we became very good friends. Then she introduced me to Steve and Hersha and Rachel and Charlotte Stewart and the whole gang from Little House, Patrick Labrateau, and then for that to then become how I got my ministry gig. And Allison and I, back in the day of public access, when she was doing her HIV/AIDS awareness show,
Indeed.
it was her show, then my show, then the neo-Nazis. Yes, the perfect trifecta.
Indeed. Indeed.
So you just keep running into the same people, the same lessons, the same things over and over and over again. I mean, it's really an
Well, it's
interesting.
raising the vibration. Look how
It
far
is.
we've come.
And it's the beauty of connection. Look how many people we didn't even know we had in common that I would run into at that fundraiser.
Indeed.
And I did that fundraiser for Peter. I met Peter through Patty Negri. Two of my light workers, Alex May and Jason McKean, I met them at Paul Raiser, and now they're part of Lightworkers group. Everything is so connected. If you just instead, and I say this because, Paul, if you just stop trying to shove your life through, shove it through. I want this and I want that, and being like energetically Veruca Salt. And you just lean back and let the sort of the tree of life unfold in front of you.
Indeed.
With all of the connections and the branches. And there's so much love in the world for all of us. You just have to find the people that love you. And you have to be on the right path with people. And you have to know that sometimes, there was a time when, Paul, I saw you every couple days. And then we didn't see each other for a long time. Our paths, and then now we're seeing it. So, it's okay that sometimes friendships are this. That's okay. You don't have, everything doesn't have to be, you don't have to white knuckle it through everything.
Well, sometimes your semester is off at sea.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's very true. So, I mean, I think that that's an interesting lesson that you're dealing with. I think that also I talked about this on the show yesterday with some friends some different folks that are actors came on. I think as actors, and you and I started out as actors, I think that you're conditioned from the first time you walk into an acting class You're probably never going to make it. You're probably going to starve. Get used to waiting tables your whole life. There's nothing for you. And I think we subconsciously grow up with that lack of prosperity, that lack of consciousness lack. And we believe that as actors, we're probably going to starve forever. And it becomes a constant fear that hangs around in our periphery.
Well, that somehow the laws of the universe skip show business. That you start at zero and you will go less than. And that's not true.
No.
That's not true.
No.
It's interesting. I was just introduced to a marvelous performer, and his name is Daniel Beatty. And I'm going to brag on him for just a minute to have had the opportunity to get to know him. And he is doing a live concert at the Wallace Annenberg, June 20th and 27th, with Esperanza Spalding and Lidisi.
Wow.
He is amazing. He won Deaf Poetry Jam with something called Knock Knock that you can find on YouTube. But he's one of those people that when I met Daniel, I went, well, hello. And we have become such dear friends in such a short amount of time. But his story of recovery and where he's come from, and he is fine looking, I will tell you. But he came from terrible abuse and neglect and awfulness. And this is his not only ascension to major stardom, but his concert is called Love Always Wins. And the gentleness that he has made these changes of monumental proportions around the idea of love has changed my life. And I love when people inspire us. Just by being friends with him has upped my game. It reminds me, there's a difference between timing and sloth, Paul. So pick up your clothes, do the laundry, dust, and keep going.
Do you have a sloth problem? Is that a problem? You look a little like a sloth. You have a cute little beard and a sweet little smile. You can hang in a tree and be slothy.
I can be. Well, it's not really sloth, but I live alone, so sometimes I will put something on the dining room table and be so surprised 3 months later it's still there. I've zoomed right by it. So it is that attention to detail, which spiritual principles also work in housekeeping.
That's true. My housekeeping is mids and mids, but I'm real great outside of the house. I always say I have two houses and they both look like hoarders. They look like somewhere between hoarders and that band house that like all the musicians live in. That the furniture is all beat up, but there's lots of parties happening there and lots of musical instruments stacked everywhere. But we're getting that. This was supposed to be the year to get my house in order, and that's what I told myself. And then my niece got weird, and but with all the things I've had with people, I think this has been the year to get my house in order. It's just a lot different than I thought it was going to be. What I thought getting my house in order is actually very different than what getting my house in order is.
Well, also grief. I will tell you, the loss of my mother was so profound. And the loss of my father. I loved my father. I had great parents, but I was physically ill when my mother passed, as if something and another metaphysician said, well, part of you has died. You were part of that tissue that no longer exists.
I agree. Yes. And I am definitely,
And it took a while and grief has its own timing. So if anybody out there is dealing with issues of grief, be very gentle with yourself. The world has changed. And grief comes in different boxes. The loss of a pet is different than the loss of a grandparent, that is different than the loss through murder or suicide. I mean, I'm sure you find this with your clients. Each one is profound and different, and it requires a different journey.
Absolutely.
So, it can't just all be, corporations go, oh, bereavement, that's 3 days. I wish it could be handled in 3 days.
3 days. It's not even enough to call the bank and settle the financial stuff. I mean, that took me months.
Oh, I know.
It took me 4 months until they would open her checking account and let me at least pay the bills for her. And she had a trust. I mean, an ironclad trust, and I was the only decedent. I was her only relative. And I still had to cry in the Bank of America before they would let me into her safety deposit box.
Oh, I know.
Which then had like really nothing in it but some stock certificates. But I mean, I literally spent that 4 months crying to get institutions to do what I needed. Because man, you start crying and people will give you stuff. It's amazing how that works. I don't like that story, but it does. And I think that's a lot of it. I have to remember sometimes to stop and give myself a break. And interesting things happen to you when you lose. For me, a parent, my best friend, my only relative. people treat you differently. People think, oh God, here comes dead girl walking.
Oh,
Because,
please.
they think,
get
oh,
it.
this is the grieving one. Oh Christ, here she comes. And then, so some people just kind of avoid you like, oh, is your mom still dead?
Mm-hmm.
And then other people act like, oh, well, now's the time for me to make my move
Mm-hmm.
and really move in and do something terrible because you're too weak to fight back. So I've had a lot of that in the past 3 years. And I think we were talking about things we're working on. I think one of the things I'm working on now is I'm working on really sitting down and putting my big girl pants on and having a talk with myself about the fact that there are terrible people that are always going to try to tear me apart. And I have to stop worrying about it. I have to stop letting it affect me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to stop finding some reason or some intellectual rationalization for why it happened or what I did to cause it or how I can make them come back. It's just some people are just dicks.
And
And that's the lesson I'm
That's
working on right now.
I think that's actually the 13th commandment.
Thou shalt understand that some people are just dicks.
Yeah, I think so. But what's interesting is I think for me, I attach that to a little show business damage in that I can stand on a stage and I've had the great good fortune of entertaining, a lot of people, but I can find the one person in the balcony that hates me. And I will energetically play to them when the other 1,100 people really do love everything. I'm like, okay, he'll like this part. I'm like, why are you spending your time on one person when 1,100 other people adore you? It's amazing to me. It might be what I refer to as show business damage, that I'm going to get all of them. I'm going to make y'all love me.
Well, and the interesting thing is I do not have that professionally, but I have it personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
I could give two tiddly shits who's laughing at me and who's not when I'm on stage, or who's receptive to me when I'm preaching. But in my personal life, I'm like, but you said you loved me 3 years ago. Why are you now being so mean to me? And I just because I grew up with this person who told me, I love you forever. And she loved me forever. And there was never a time when she didn't love me. So to me, when someone says, I love you forever, whether it's a friend, a lover, a coworker, whatever it is, I really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But some people mean I love you until it's convenient for me not to love you anymore, or until I get jealous and decide I want to tear you apart, or until I feel like ripping your skin off slow because I'm crazy.
Yikes.
That's the 12th commandment. Thou shalt fear people who rip thy skin off slowly.
Yes.
Because they are crazy.
Well, it's interesting. Somebody said to me, and I love what I do, and I'm introduced to so many amazingly wise people. Somebody said, when all of a sudden somebody drops out of your life, that there was great love and great affection. That love continues. It's probably the most loving thing for both of you to have a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went, wait, no, but what? They're not here, because I think,
And sometimes that break needs to last 4 lifetimes.
It could be. It could be. But that love is as Daniel's show is Love Always Wins. Love is there's no, love and hate are not opposite. Love and indifference are.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have to have some sort of emotion around absolutely despising somebody. But it's all shaking out. Sometimes you also run up against a situation that you've thrown everything at it, and it feels like it's immovable. Well, then sit down for a minute, meditate.
Yeah.
Get quiet, because it isn't you.
Yes.
There's a reason that it has, is taking this time. Now, once again, procrastination is something that you can address. But when you really have tried everything you know how and it still isn't moving, hold on. There's something better, because nothing is ever taken from you without something better coming in its place. It's just how the universe is. Because when you think about especially around the issues of prosperity, if you'll notice, there's always enough.
Mm-hmm.
The folks on the street have enough cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
It may not come as quickly as they'd like, but so the grand question is, what is it you're willing to receive?
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to step up your game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize that the universe always says yes to you, even to your own self-destruction, it's pretty humbling.
Yeah, it is. Yes. And the really universal question is, where do homeless people get all those cigarettes?
I know, isn't it amazing?
And the 40s in a bag. Where did they come from?
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's an interesting. That's been my journey. And it's funny because I was telling you, as I'm healing right now at Healing Hands in Winnetka, amazing. I'm sending everybody there. Dan Magnus is a fantastic physical therapist. My wonderful massage therapist, Jolene Vera, the fantastic compression therapy. Tina Perlmutter owns the place. She's amazing. But when I first got my first massage from Jolene, she was working on my knees, and she said, and she's such a healer. She said, "Who cut you off at the knees?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh, like 6 people this year." And I had a very interesting conversation with the wonderful Keith Mazingo from Founders MCC, and I told him some of the things I had gone through since how some people in the entertainment business had reacted so viscerally to me starting a peace, love, kindness, unity movement. And he said, "Well, honey, don't you know people think service is a step down? When you go into service, people think, whether it's as a psychic or it's as a minister or it's a nonprofit owner, people think, oh, you couldn't make it at what you were doing at your fancy job, so now you're in service." And let me tell you something: if I will spend the rest of my life, Paul, convincing people that service is a step up.
Indeed,
service is where you go when you realize that the world, that the universe, that your fellow creatures are more important than yourself. That's.
They talk about, especially in the idea of religion, people go, "When did you get the calling?" They're not kidding.
No.
There is a moment when you realize
yes.
that you are being called to service. And it almost is as if your personal preference wasn't in the mix. When I walked across the street and said to Liberate, "Did you need somebody?" I had no idea on the journey that would take me. I've always been impressed with tarot. I've always been impressed with the idea of divination. I have some regular clients that I learn just as much on my side of the table as the people I think that sit across, and I'm so humbled by it that there are 78 cards in tarot, and some of my regular clients, they shuffle, we break it into 3 decks, they choose one pile, and we work with that. To watch the same card move through the spread and then out is amazing to me. So that's a power greater than myself. You can't even, I don't even know what the mathematical calculations or the odds of that are. But then again, in the realm of the quantum field or in the realm of spirit, everything's possible.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to get more. Marjorie's on the phone waiting for us.
Oh, my
Marjorie,
goodness. Hello.
welcome to the show, my friend. How are you? Say hi to Paul, and how may we help you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. It's great to hear your voice, my friend. Say hello to Paul for me.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm well, Marjorie. How are you?
Okay.
How may we help you today, sweetheart?
Well, I'm still living in my car, and I've been kind of sick with a virus for the last few months or something. I don't quite know what it was. Part of Lyme or something. And I'm just kind of curious, I'm trying to figure out when and how I'm going to get a home.
Okay, let me look here.
I'm going to let Paul start because he's the guest.
Sure. Sounds good.
Well, bless your heart, Marjorie.
And he's got the world's tiniest tarot cards.
I have the
Look
world's
at the little bitty bitties, people.
little tiny tarot cards. Tiny tarot. So people always go, "You probably don't have your cards." No, I do.
I think you should be at littletinytarotcards.com, Paul.
Here's the good news, my sweet friend. The 3 cards that I've chosen, King of Swords, the 8 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. Part of this is, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this as succinctly. The situation we find you in is temporary, which is good news.
Yes.
Because the 2 of Swords shows a woman who is blindfolded. She's carrying 2 swords. She's crossing them across her chest. It's nighttime. And a friend of mine pointed this out to me, and he says to her, "Girl, don't put down the swords, take the blindfold off, and go inside." Part of this is you have made the decision that you want to change. So literally, you're taking the blindfold off, you're putting your swords down, and now it's time to move, which is nice because within that decision, sweet one, the 8 of Rods, it's one of the few cards in tarot, and I know you can't see it, that there's no people in. These 8 rods are just flying through the air. It means that this is in process. Your request, your prayers have been heard. Now, the King of Swords is delightful in the fact that he's sitting firmly on his throne. Swords are symbol of the mind. You can use it to protect yourself or cut yourself. So and it's the king. We're at the end of the suit, meaning this is going to turn out very well for you. Paying attention, if you're doing morning meditation, remind yourself to cast your interest forward, not back. And I'm going to draw one more little card to see where else they take us to. Oh, my goodness, the biggest yes in the deck, the world. So you are just about done with this phase, my sweet, and I'm wishing you every good success. And heal quickly. Little orange juice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That sounds wonderful.
Sweetheart, you have to keep the hope alive inside of yourself. And I know that sounds like such a Walt Disney kind of answer, but I mean, it's so
Keep
important.
The what inside myself?
The hope. You have to keep the hope
Oh, the hope.
alive inside yourself and the faith that you're going to move forward. Because like Paul said, you're so close, sweetheart. You just can't. Now is not the time to let the fear, the doubt, the worry, the negative thinking get in your head and convince you that you can't get out of this. And the thing, it's so interesting that it's so hard to see right now, babe. But when you get out of this and you're no longer staying at the Hotel Auto, you are going to realize that this was all for a reason, that you learned so much during this time. And what you learned during this time is going to dictate the next part of your life, sweetheart. This is going to be the beginning of the end.
I know that on one level, intellectually, but, sometimes it gets rough.
You bet.
Yeah, it's hard, sweetheart. It's absolutely, life is not easy. Soul school is not easy. And the interesting thing is, I always say, your junior year of college is a lot harder than second grade. The more lives you've done, the harder the lessons get because you're evolving more. And the more you evolve, the more you're going to continue to evolve, and you're getting closer to getting to the point where you no longer need to be in a body, and then you can become part of the universe and help others to come up, bring other souls up. So when this is done and you move into your apartment, you're going to look around and say, I understand every reason for every night I spend in that car. And this is now what I do with my life. And it's going to open up this whole new periphery of chance and experience for you. And so many things are going to make sense. This is just sort of like you know what it is? It's your larval stage, and you're about to become a butterfly.
Indeed.
So this is your cocoon. It's just, it's a cocoon that moves.
Well, that sounds good.
So hang tight, my sweet friend. You're so close, and we love you, and we thank you so much for calling. And we're always here, and you keep the faith, and we want to know how you're doing. So please let us know, because that's very important to us that we know how it's worked out. And I want to get a big, huge congratulatory to yourself call when you're out of that thing and you're in your place. The world's tiniest tarot.
Aren't they fun?
Oh my goodness, it's darling. It's wonderful. All right, we're going to get Alicia on with us now.
All right.
Once we start, then it just rolls like a freight train, my friend. So hang on to your ass, because here we go.
Here we go.
Alicia, we're going to get Alicia on right now with us. So we're coming for you, Alicia. And then I think Ava is next, and somebody else is after that, and the phone's blowing up. So here we go. It's Lightworkers Unite. If you want to see past broadcasts of this, it's at welightworkersunite.com. Go there and check it out. We're on Facebook Live. We're always at latalkradio.com, LA Talk Radio on Facebook. Alicia, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. It's wonderful to hear your voice. Say hi to Paul, hun, and how may we help you?
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm good, Alicia. How are you?
A little nervous.
Oh, you're doing just fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just had a question. I never got to say goodbye to somebody really important to me. And I didn't know if he had anything he wanted to say or anything that he wanted to get across.
Well, the wonderful thing about when people pass is instantly they can be everywhere all the time. So the fact that you physically here in the 3D world didn't get a chance to say goodbye, they know. They know how much you love them. They know, and they're around you more than you know.
Yeah.
And I frequently like to say that, just because they've gone doesn't mean they've gone far.
Yeah.
And I like to think of life like a fan. When you turn a fan on, you can't see the blades. You can see through the blades. But when you turn the fan off, you can see each individual blade. Well, that's kind of like the vibration of the planet. And so therefore, they're vibrating at a higher rate of speed. And I can certainly discern energies. We all do, by the way, because people go, oh, that felt weird. But so within it would have been comfortable maybe for you to have said a physical goodbye. But the love that bound the two of you is still here. That energy has not left. So it really, for my 2 cents, and I hope this is helpful, it wasn't necessary to say goodbye, because in this instance, they are still there, they are still with you, and they're still listening. So if you felt like if there was anything incomplete, I don't believe so. Say their name for me.
John.
John.
Mm-hmm. There's 3 people, but
See if I get any.
one of the ones
You know,
I really.
he's concerned, sweetheart, that he didn't tell you enough how much he cared about you. That being vocal about how he felt was not his strong suit. And he just
True.
sort of figured that you knew it, so he didn't have to say it all the time. But now he wishes he'd said it more. He had no idea that it was all going to be cut this short. And so he thought he'd have plenty of time to talk to you about it and to be more vocal. And he was trying to get there. It was hard for him to be vocally open about feelings. Was not really his strong suit. So he just wishes he had told you more how important you were to him.
Thank you.
Does that make
Can
sense?
you tell me if that? Yes. Is that there's a certain smell that I smell
Yeah.
a lot?
Sure, it's him.
Is that
Yeah.
is that one of the 3 people that?
I think it's John, isn't it?
There's 3 people that I think. I mean, I don't know who, but it's just a certain smell, and there's days it won't leave me for weeks at a time.
Mhm.
I smell it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That and music. If you hear the same song over and over, they love to communicate through music. They love to communicate through smell. Out of nowhere, if you suddenly have a thought about them, they sort of have a way to jump into the middle of your mental stream. It's amazing. They're kind of shameless on the other side. I'm sort of a baby medium. I don't really work through mediumistic energy well. For me, it's difficult. It's a different energy. I've been a tarot reader and an empath for years, but mediumistic energy, actually, they lean into your energy. And I have great respect for people who are full-on mediums, because all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be a medium, but then I was.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, oh, thank God I'm not a medium. I say that to Paul all the time. Thank God I'm a large.
And
then all of a sudden, there it was.
there it was.
Yeah, it happened. It happens more and more since I have a lady Sphynx Cat that talks to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be driving down the road, and I'll look over, that thing will be sitting in the passenger seat, and it's like, hey, you getting a Sphynx Cat anytime soon? And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know you. I've never even really, I've only through Facebook have I met your mother. Why are you in my car? And he's like, because you're going to get a Sphynx Cat, right? I want you to get one. I'm here to help. I'm like, thank you.
Nice.
And he's real sexy and weird. So there you go. Now I got to get a Sphynx Cat, sweetheart. You know what? John is with you all the time, and he's kind of staying where he is and not reincarnating at this time, because he wants to make sure you're okay and get you through this period, because he thinks that maybe you've dealt with a lot of death in your life, and you're grieving more than you know. So it's sort of like when a wound scabs over and you think it's gone, but it's not gone. It's just covered up, and underneath it's still healing. That's kind of where you're at. So you've built a nice crust on the top, so you're not like an open wound all the time. But underneath, honey, there are still layers of you that are healing. And
that makes sense.
And John knows that, and so he wants you to. He wants to stick around until you've really healed, because he's worried that you haven't. And he feels a little. I mean, you don't really feel things like guilt when you're in the afterlife, but he feels a little. He's concerned because he wants to make sure that he helps you, because he understands part of why you're grieving is because of him.
He's happy though.
Oh my God, he's totally happy. Way more happy than he was when he was alive. Because
I 100% believe that.
Because when he was alive, he could be a little happiness challenged, right? Sometimes he wasn't so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, heaven is a great spot. That you get to do everything you love, and you love everything you do, and that's really home for us.
Yeah, I call it home.
Yeah, this kind of weird summer camp that we're all in.
Yeah, soul school.
Indeed, soul school. I love
Yeah.
that. And
Pain
this-
Academy.
And this is where we get, many times, especially with my clients, they'll go, I just want to check out. And I'm like, well, here's what's interesting. And I understand the thought, trust me, through my own struggle. And notice people always say struggle with depression. They never say giggle. I'm just giggling through depression. No, that's not what we're doing here. But what it is whatever the challenges are that we are doing here in school, it is so much easier to do it in a body than without one. And what I do know, the couple of times I have worked with mediumistic energy, is for people who did pass through suicide, that the immediate thing is they are so sorry because, first of all, it interrupts the whole. I have this vision of a room full of ladies that when they get the information, Bob Smith has committed suicide, they all have to go through their files. Oh, well, he was supposed to meet this person. He was supposed to be in Paris then, and now we have to all of the paperwork that they have to adjust on the other side. Anyway, but when we do pass, we immediately go. Everyone goes to heaven. I mean, it's a hard idea to realize that Hitler went to heaven, but
Hitler went to heaven? Are you sure about that?
I think there was
What you talking about?
I know. Well, he may have actually.
I'm not sure Hitler went to heaven.
He may have done a U-turn, and because of what had happened, reincarnated immediately without the benefit of spiritual guidance. And talk about a terrible feeling of loneliness. So, in the grief journey that you're going through, sweet thing, they are around you, and feel complete about it. Nothing was missed. You're doing just fine.
So that's when I feel like there are people there actually in my house, it's real. Those
of
feelings
course.
are real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, just because people are dead doesn't mean they're not around, and just because people are dead doesn't make them interesting. So there you go.
Yeah, if you dealt with my father's ghost, you would know that to be true.
Yeah.
And Paul has. Not always.
Sometimes it feels familiar, and sometimes it's not such good feeling. So you never know what.
And you can always say, not right now. I'm just not available. You can go now.
Not tonight, ghost. Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Well, and the problem is, sweetie, that when a lot of spirits are around you, it sort of opens up a rip in the veil, and then other spirits can peep in. You know how, like, sometimes if there's something going on if something's going on at your house and the ambulance shows up, like my mom was older, she fell a couple times, and the ambulance would show up, the firefighters would come, and of course they wouldn't just come with the ambulance, they'd come with like 3 fire trucks, the ambulance, and all of a sudden, a shit ton of hot dudes is getting out of the fire truck, and they're all running in to go pick up my mom, which by the way she loved, and she used to always tell them they should have their own calendar. Huntington Beach Fire Department, if you're gonna fall there, the guys are hot. All of a sudden, all the weird neighbors would come out.
Oh, sure.
And they would run over to the house. They would start trying to peep in the door. This creepy old lady that lived next door would peep up over the fence like Kilroy, because everybody sees something going on and they want to know what it is. So if your house becomes active with these 3 lovely people that you loved that passed, suddenly other spirits are going to be like, oh God, what's going on in Alicia's house?
Oh, they're shameless on the other side.
What's happening? Woo, there's some activity over there. Let's fly on over and woo and see what's happening over there. So that happens a lot, honey, and that's okay. But just know that you might want to do a little white candle burning,
little sage,
little something you love like lavender or something that feels like safety and security to you, and whatever it is you love. I like lavender rose.
I do too.
And a little white candle, a little pink candle, and just say, hey, you know what? If you're not somebody that I knew in life, I would prefer you not be here. I mean, nobody's coming to hurt you. It's not like get out. It's not like that. But it's just, they're just nosy. There's some curious ones. So mostly it's yours, but your house has kind of become a house of curiosity. And you might even want to tell your loved ones, like John and your other 2, hey, guys, it would be really great if you would tell the nosy neighbors that I love when you all come, but I don't really want a bunch of other spirits flitting around here because it's freaking me out. And they'll help too from where they are.
They do.
I will do that, because there are times it just gets way too congested when I'm alone in my room.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. It's hard. It's and you're dealing with a lot, sweetie, and you're sensitive because you're going through all this grief right now. So
yeah, I don't understand these feelings. I've kind of had weird feelings like this since I was a little girl, but I've never understood any of it. So it's all confusing for me.
Yeah, congratulations, you have gifts. Yay! Yeah.
I don't quite understand them though. So
Well, you know what,
But thank
sweetie?
you
That's
so
okay,
much.
because I'll tell you something. Paul and I have been doing this a long time. We don't really understand them either. You don't ever fully understand them. You just sort of live with them. You live in harmony with them, but you don't necessarily. It's kind of like having a pet tiger. You you know you pet it, it's happy.
Yeah.
You feed it, it's happy. Some days it rips off your leg. Most times it doesn't. You just sort of live with your gifts, and you just sort of are always a little bit on the crazy roller coaster.
Well, and there's what I found is there's sort of two steps to it, and maybe this is where you are, sweet one. There is awareness. You're aware of these things, like, wow, I really am responding to this, or I really do feel this, and so the first step is awareness. The second step is acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're accepting this, oh
Okay.
yeah, that's what this is. So therefore, there is a treasure trove of information about how all of this works. You know, people will say to me, well, when did you know about your gift? Well, everyone is psychic. Everyone is. But since if you worked out 8 hours a day, you'd be massive. I do this a lot. So my sensitivity and my acuity is higher than if I had not done this, if I had just been an architect or something. Not that architects are not psychic, but do you know what I'm saying? So now that you have the awareness, find out what it is for you.
I will look into it. I
You
tried
bet.
meditating one time and started to see a face, and I freaked out, and I never did it again.
Ooh, meditation's. If you were,
But you're supposed to see a face. That's a good thing.
yeah, and not only that, but that's the foundation of everything. My clients, I almost demand that they do morning meditation, because now this
Okay.
is a
So
new
don't
area.
be afraid of it.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Meditation means to join.
Don't be afraid of anything, sweetheart. I mean, and there's a few things you need to be afraid of in life, but most things, don't be afraid of things. Go into things with an open heart and just protect yourself. You know, white candles, white light, white sage, all things that have white in them. Protect yourself with them, and just be careful what baby steps into what you're getting involved in, because it's you don't want to get involved in something that you don't know what you're doing. But at the same time, sweetheart, it's all good. It's all wonderful experiences. It's all good things waiting for you. The only thing that holds you back is your fear. So don't let. And if you don't want to be susceptible to negative spirits, the one thing that really draws negative spirits in is fear. So the less fear you have,
Indeed.
the less chance there's going to be any negative spirits coming in.
Perfect. Thank you, guys so
you're in
much.
good shape.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, you have gifts.
Take good care. Yay!
Yay! You're coming out. You want the world to know. You've got to let it show. You're coming. That's one of my favorite things. Is as Paul helped drag me out of the closet. I like to help drag others out of the closet. It's only fair. It's how it works. If you want to get on with us, it's so easy. You just send me a text message, 818-437-0886. That's 818-437-0886, and we are happy to help you with anything you need: readings, healings, spiritual counseling, paranormal questions.
We love those.
Yeah, we do love those, right? There's a griffin in my backyard. Whatever the story is, just let us know, and we love it. So we are going to get Ava on with us right now, and that's how you do it. You just text me like she did. 818-437-0886, and Ava's up next, and then somebody's after that, and somebody else is after that, and I'm not quite sure yet because I don't have my phone unlocked. So we're getting Ava on with us right now, and here we go. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. It's good to hear your voice. Say hi to Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, Ava.
I have to tell you, the last time I saw Ava, she was like 5. Is that right, Ava? 5, probably? We were at Disneyland.
Probably.
And she was getting her picture taken with all the villains on Halloween.
Ooh.
You're not 5 anymore, though, now.
No, I'm 16.
That's awesome.
Wow. Great age.
That's wonderful. God, where do the years go? How old? Jesus, Ava, how old am I? It's terrifying. I must be really old now. What happened to me? So, how may we help you, my friend?
Well, my dad was listening to your show, and he texted me and he told me to try to get in contact with you.
Yay.
I lost my mom when I was 9 years old,
I'm so sorry,
about 6
sweetie.
years ago.
Mhm.
And it's been really difficult. and I was just wondering if there was any way I could get a reading.
Absolutely. Sure, of course. And I knew your mama, and she was lovely, sweetheart. She loved you so much,
Thank
and I
you
know
so
your dad
much.
loves you so much too. And he's such a sweet
Yeah.
man. I have dad envy for him because my dad was, and your dad's amazing.
Thank you so much.
She was your mom was you have a lot of her stuff, right? And your mom was a very big presence. And she
Yeah.
passed a lot of that on to you. She was a big presence. She was a very, very smart lady, very talented lady, but she had a big, humongous energy. And I can feel that energy in you now. So I think in her passing, she even gave you more of her big energy. So some of it you just got genetically from growing up inside of her, and some of it you got from her raising you. But then as she passed a lot of her creative gifts onto you. People can actually will you their gifts. My mom, when she passed 3 years ago, she dumped all of her psychic gifts down in the top of my head about an hour after she passed. So it is possible that you get gifts from people, and your mom has given you a lot of her creative gifts, and you're interested in doing something creative with your life, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and she's thrilled about that. She really is thrilled that you're doing that, and she's thrilled that you're following in her footsteps in a way. Only you're going to do something different, but she's thrilled that you're going to be part of the creative world that she loves so much, and the entertainment industry that she loves so much. Paul?
Well, I was sitting here thinking how the energy that I feel is really lovely, and I'm wondering if, I would imagine this is your mother. 16 is such an interesting age. This is that in-between age. If we were in the medieval time, this is when princesses are realizing what they may need to do for their country and so forth. And you're very much coming into, as Sheena was talking about, this amazing energy of this woman that was your mother. She's still your mother. She's just not in the same room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I understand that you understand that she may have gone, but not gone far. The 3 cards I drew are amazing. The Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands and the 4 of Swords, which tell me that you are following not only in her footsteps, but you are sort of using this energy and using the creativity that she's given you, plus the lovely grounding that your father has given you. So you really stand at the gate of an amazing future ahead of you. But they're also saying, she gets all of this energy, but sometimes she just the 4 of Swords is always about rest. Are you getting enough rest? And that actually sounds like a mother sort of thing of, oh, you know what, Ava, it's time for a little rest here.
Right.
So congratulations on all of the good things and the good fortune that's right ahead of you as you're planning this marvelous creative endeavor. And a lot of this is I'm seeing a crown being placed on your head. So the images of the 2 queens is not far off. She is a benevolent queen. Oh, how nice. Meaning you're a kind one. So this legacy of love that your mother has left for you, that you will continue as well. So good for you. You're welcome.
Yeah, and you know what? And your mama's saying, sweetheart, don't be afraid to be as big as you are. Does that make sense? Don't dim your light. Let your light shine and use it to light up the world. She doesn't want you to ever. She said that when you're bigger, when your light is big, when you have a big presence, sometimes people will make you feel like, can't you just because a lot of people don't shine as bright, and they want you to. So that sometimes out of guilt or shame, you turn your light down and you don't glow as bright. And she wants you to, and she, when she was younger, she did that. She dimmed her light sometimes because people told her to. And so she wants you to never do that. So she says, you just keep your light bright and you use it to light the world, and you be the big, beautiful presence that you are. And that you should always listen to your dad, even when you think that he's being a complete pain in the ass. Because he has a good business sense, and you got that from him. And you're going to need that in your creative work, she's saying. You're going to need to also have a really good business sense. And so that you should listen to the things that he says, because and that don't be afraid to lean on him. Don't be afraid to call him up and tell him that I think I'm falling apart. I don't understand what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And this is scaring me. You don't always have to be so tough, she says, because she used to think she had to be that tough, and sometimes she should have leaned on people and she didn't. And so she wants to make sure that as you go into the creative arts and you don't let the business make you hard, that you stay soft inside, that you stay tough on the outside, but you're still soft on the inside, like a Cadbury cream egg.
Indeed.
The hard shell and a gooey center. Does that make sense, sweetheart?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And you stay in touch with me and you tell your daddy I love him. And anytime you need anything in this business, if I can help, I'm here for you. So you stay in touch. You've got my cell number now, and I'll text you my email. And it's great to hear your voice. And I don't know how we both got to be so old, darling, but thank you so much for the call. Isn't this fun?
This is
What
marvelous.
we just help people all day.
This is
It's just fun.
marvelous.
818-437-0886. That is my cell number. If you want to get on the air with us, that's how you do it. And you just text me your name. First name, last name helps because we don't use last names on the air, but I have so many people in my phone.
Mhm.
If you just say, oh, my name's Mary, and I'm like, okay, there's 87 Marys in my phone, and I don't know which one is you. And then also send me your email, because that's my preferred way still to stay in touch. Does that make me an old dinosaur, Paul?
No, I'll tell you what, I run such a busy schedule. By the time I get home at night, sometimes late, then I'll be able to email. I also think it's a little rude if I text, like after
Like at
10.
midnight? Yeah, I don't text after 10.
Because it panics me when I get one.
Oh, I don't get. You can text me all time of the day or night. I go sleep, I turn my phone off. I wake up, I turn it back on.
Oh,
but
that's so smart.
But I'm scared other people are going to be like, oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
sent me a text at 11 o'clock. How
What's happening?
inappropriate.
Yeah.
I've even
So-
had people be like, you sent me a Facebook message after 10. I'm like, really? Oh, Facebook Messenger? Like you have that so it beeps you every time someone messages you. If I
Yeah.
had Facebook Messenger for all my pages turned on, my phone would sound like this.
I know.
It would
I know.
never stop. It would sound like somebody on crystal meth was trying to do Morse code. I mean, it would just never be
I
done.
need to adjust my notifications because I get a beep for everything, and it makes me nuts.
Yeah, I only
Email, bing. Every time I get an email, bing.
Yeah. I
It'll
only
make you
give them
nuts.
for text message when the phone's on, and if I'm working with clients, I can't really hear it, but they can hear it really loud on their end.
Yeah.
So I have to remember to turn the phone on when the clients call, turn it off as soon as I take the
that's
client,
smart. Mhm.
because my texts sound like that. Buzz, buzz. People never stop texting me.
Oh,
But the
okay.
Facebook Messenger, I mean, that's like you'll go and there's 200 messages.
Oh, I know.
200 messages now since we started the show, probably.
Indeed.
I just spend my life cleaning out inboxes. That's my real career. I clean cat boxes and
And
inboxes.
inboxes.
That's my actual career. All right, we're getting Nicole on the phone right now. And then after that, we have Ariel, and then some more people. I don't know.
Delicious.
And more people, Paul. More people. Nicole, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How about you?
Wonderful. It's great to hear your voice.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I have been caring for a cat ever since I moved into my apartments about 5 years ago. And she's never left me any kind of gifts or anything. Well, I did a ritual for a crow that somebody hit. And ever since I did that ritual, she was there when I did it. She's been coming back with dead mice now.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
Is that a good thing? I mean, I feel bad because I'm burying mice just about every night now. It's like 7 so far.
Well, it's not great for
The mice.
The mice. Yeah. But it's
I feel terrible.
But it's you know what, the cat is tithing. I mean, if we're going to do rituals, then I'm going to bring you a mouse ritual every day. I think that cats are basically at their core very ritualistic creatures.
You bet they are.
And so they love the idea that, we're burying things. Oh, I'll bring you something to bury. I mean, I think that maybe you just need to sit down and explain to the sweet thing that the birdie died, and we gave the birdie a nice send off. We did not sacrifice the birdie to, the pagan goddess in order to get something. So we don't need to sacrifice a mouse every day. But I think Kitty's just confused.
Well, and not only that, she is like, look what I brought you.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
got to do, you got the big bird. Well, I don't know if I can do a big bird, but I can do a mouse for you. Watch this.
Exactly.
So
I'll be
they're-
right back.
Yeah.
Hang on.
They're actually, my cat used to leave mouse noses and tails outside my window.
Oh.
And it was a gift
Oh,
from her.
wow.
She was like, my cat's name was Cleo. She was like, Daddy, look, a little something for you.
Yeah.
I've been doing my job as the mouser out here, and just wanted to let you know I've got it handled.
Wow. You know, I
Yes.
never had a cat till I was almost 24, and I moved into I bought my house, and Aaron adopted me. And my mom had that really evil cat when she was growing up, so we never had cats. And even she was like, I think you need to adopt that cat because she's not going away. And so I didn't know what it was like to have a cat. So I'd be sitting in the kitchen eating a bowl of cereal, and Aaron would jump up on the table and just spit half a cricket into the bowl,
There
and
you
then
go.
look at me like,
Oh my God.
ta-da! See, I caught
I'm
a
helping
cricket,
too.
but I'm going to give you half the cricket, the good half, the bottom half for you. And
Oh
then
my
I would have to
gosh.
be
Yeah.
like, what do I do now? I have to sort of pretend like it's good in the cereal. And then when she leaves, I got to quick dump the cereal really fast.
Yeah.
So I think that Kitty is like, oh, we do rituals now? Oh, great. I'll go bring something. So
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the
Okay,
thing.
yeah, because these are always whole, and I mean,
Then
yeah.
Yeah.
she really does love you.
Yeah, because she's not even eating any of
Yeah,
it
yeah.
first. She's just giving it right
Cleo
to
wasn't
you.
that nice to me. I got noses or heads and tails. She was gonna go, okay, Daddy, you get half of it, but I'm out here in the field finding it. So yeah, so she's really
Okay,
it's really quite a compliment.
I just want to make sure the universe isn't like pissed at me for the ritual, or
Oh no, you can't imagine what
no.
the universe allows.
I've had cats my whole life. My mom and I had like a half acre with like 30 some odd cats.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I've never had cats bring me anything like that before.
Oh well, this one's devoted to you. This one wants to look. I brought you a little something.
Okay.
Nice. I know. You should feel very, very honored. They don't do it. You know a favorite quote of mine is, "Dogs have owners, cats have staff."
Yeah.
Because they don't really. When they're finished with you, my cat would lay in the middle of the floor and just be looking around, and then suddenly jump up and run into the kitchen. And I'm like, "Are you late? What's going on in the kitchen that you have to get there right now?" They live in a whole different realm. That they are master of, and the fact that she's bringing you some gifts is kind of very sweet. You can actually have a conversation with her. Go, it's not necessary. Thank you so much. Having a dozen roses a day, by the end of the week, we now have, too many, and that's that. You've done we love you. You've done such a great job.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you so
Thank you
much.
for the
Yeah.
mouse harvest.
Yes.
You also have to remember that cats are naturally like sorcerer's apprentices. So if you're starting to do ritual work and do craft, and Kitty thinks, oh, well, I'm helping. I'm like the familiar now. Okay, well, let me go out and get some things for the rituals. So it's sort of like my cat Molly, as those of you who are my clients know, Molly partakes in my readings, and no one invites Molly. But I read mostly on speaker, by myself. And when there are parts of the reading that Molly feels she needs to agree with or not agree with, she will come over and put her little face right in the speaker and scream. And when last winter, when she was sick, she had pneumonia and she was really sick.
No.
And she would lay on the bed with me, and I would be giving a reading and reading. And then somebody would say, well, what? But is that true? I mean, is there any confirmation from Molly? And I would say, Molly's very sick and she's not participating in readings right now. And they'd be like, oh, well, when's Molly going to be feeling better? It's like, oh, did you call for Molly?
Yeah.
So, but she
That's
does.
what it sounds like.
She will come right into those things
You
and
bet.
start giving opinion because she thinks that we've like opened this psychic practice together and we're partners. And that's cats will do that. They naturally partner with you.
Okay.
I
I've
think-
always thought she's like my familiar or something because I mean she just came out of nowhere and I
Yeah.
opened my door one day and she just walked right in like she owned the place and I was just like okay hi and
Yeah.
she's my indoor outdoor cat now.
Yep.
They are incredibly psychic. The Egyptians worship them in a way.
Yeah.
And if you
I
notice-
worship them.
I do too. But when we think about regular witches, and a broomstick, we don't think of witches, a broomstick, and a giraffe. We always think there's a cat involved. So they really are quite mystical, quite psychic creatures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a great one
Yeah.
that brings
wonderful.
you gifts.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
she's wonderful. I mean, she wants to do more ritual work with you. She's like, let's do more stuff. I'll go out and I'll bring a raccoon in here. You tell me what you need me to get for you. So, I mean, I think that it's wonderful that you have this partner now to help you in ritual stuff, to do good for the world.
It's just crazy how everything's just falling into place in this path. I mean, my spirit guides, now my cat. It's like the universe is just screaming at me right now.
There you go.
Yeah, to start doing the work that you're meant here to do, to start doing your spirit work, sweetheart. Yeah. Jump
right on in.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to call the house, we can have Molly tell you. But
you're a wizard, Harry. Get in there. Get all witchy.
You'll have to bring her into the studio one day.
Oh, yes. No, I'd like to keep my face unclawed. But this is what happens because on Fridays, as you all know, I do a live broadcast from my bed called "I'm Raising Your Vibration." I put ice packs on my knees. Unlike now, where I have ice packs on my knees and cold water bottles on my back. There's your proof. So I try to always get her a little bit on camera because people always want to see her, and she'll come around and she'll come and sit next to me and she'll start giving her opinions. And then I'll say, "Oh, Molly, come talk to people." And I'll pick her up and I can get her in front. I swear to God, she knows what a camera is because it's so hard to take a picture of her. I can get her in front of that camera for about 5 seconds. And as soon as she sees a little kitty reflection in it, she's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "Okay, we got to put her down now before I lose an eye." So, she's a Scorpio, so you don't mess with her.
There you go.
Yeah. I grew inside a Scorpio. I learned the number one rule of the universe is do not mess with a Scorpio. So, Nicole, we love you, and we keep doing that work, sweetheart. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful. It's going great. Now, do you want to pull a card for today? For the show?
Let's do.
Sometimes my card people like to pull a card that's reflective of what's going on between us right now.
Actually, what I will do is have you pull one.
The little baby cards.
What does it say? Oh, my goodness. Look how fun. This is the 10 of Pentacles. This is cash and prizes, my darling. We are wealthy. We are abundant.
Nice. Beautiful.
This is retirement. There's happy dogs. There is a beautiful castle. There's a lovely couple. There's a bearded grandfather in the corner. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that, Santa.
Indeed. So I'm
gonna take a picture of that.
All goodness.
So this is for us today. Abundance for everyone calling in. Abundance for everybody watching. For everyone listening. It's all good today. It's Abundance with Sheena and Paul.
Indeed.
Welcome to Abundance with Sheena and Paul.
The 10 of Pentacles. Wonderful card.
That is the cutest little tarot deck. The pictures are so cute.
They're little. But I can do it anywhere.
What do you take? What else did you bring us? Tell us what you brought us.
Well, I brought a few things. These I keep in my bag all the time. I brought a beautiful mala that was a gift to me from my friend Julian. And malas are prayer beads. There's usually 108. And you start with the tassel. And then whatever, you can use it for affirmations. I use it when I'm walking. And the one recently I'm using from Louise Hay, which is I approve of myself.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And as I walk, each step becomes a bead.
Oh.
And so therefore, wherever I walk is sacred ground.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that's my mala.
I don't have a mala. I think I have everything, but I don't have a mala.
The one that I have at work is pyrite, which is fool's gold. It's big, beautiful chunks of pyrite with a double terminated crystal at my third chakra.
Wow.
And that was a gift from my boss. And the pyrite is a very grounding energy.
Yes, pyrite's amazing.
And the crystal is at my third chakra, so I get clear information. And then the Christian version of it is I keep a rosary with me because I have a special devotion to the Blessed Mother and the feminine energy. And this one's sort of a Broadway Hollywood version, very, very glittery.
Yeah.
And I will sometimes...
That's the most blingy rosary
I've
ever seen in my life. That's some bling, my friend.
I'll tell you. Then I enjoy working with a pendulum.
Yeah, I do too.
And,
that's beautiful, though, with the crystal ball. Look at that. I've never seen one like that.
This one, I actually have a little knot in the chain that I have to work out of. And then somebody gifted me with this one that I also like, which is also crystal.
Oh, that's beautiful, too.
My grandmother taught me how to dowse when I was a kid.
Oh.
Which dowsing is when you take a tree branch and small twigs. Usually you have to find one that has a fork in it. And my father's mother was a Kansas farm woman and grew up, and she used the almanac like a Bible. she got her hair cut during moon phases. She planted her garden according to the moon phases because there's this natural flow that goes with Gaia or with Mother Earth. And so we would find a stick literally out in the yard, and she would hold it, and she would walk, and would say to me, think about it, and just hold it very gently. And because it had been a living thing, it will help you find water. And there really is a pull. If you're holding both ends of the little twig that goes to the center part, it will bend when it gets to water. So she taught me how to dowse, and that's how they would find water out on in the prairie. And that also then turned into psychometry, where I can get impressions of people's jewelry.
It's beautiful. Do you work with dowsing rods?
I have. It's different for me because I learned with actual wood. So working with dowsing rods, because they're independent of each other, they swing, and I find it a little.
They're fantastic.
They are fantastic, but it's a little disconcerting. I need to work with it more.
I went to a party once, and my friend was like, "Let's do paranormal things," and I was like, oh, "Okay." She said, "Has anybody ever held rods?" And I said, "Well, I'll hold the rods." And her house in Simi was very active. I'd never been there before, so she said, "Start talking," and I did it, and the things were just like, and so she gave them to me. She said, "You know what? My brother bought these for me years ago, and they've never done anything for me. They belong to you."
They belong
so
to
I
you.
keep them in a Ziploc bag in my trunk, in a backpack with a bunch of spiritual stuff, like my little mini altar that I take when I read places, because I don't want them in my house because they're so active with me that I don't want to be like spirits coming in from everywhere because I'm like, woo, we got the spin in the rods, baby, bring it on. Because I grew up in a nasty haunted house.
Yeah.
So if you want to do psychometry, why don't you hold Mom's engagement ring?
What a pretty ring.
Yep. I've had it on since she went in the hospital the last time. I never take it off. Except when I hand it to people to let them hold it. Yeah, there she is. There's Lena Josephine. How about that?
Hello there.
I've talked about her. Now you know.
She's actually, it feels like she's pressing down on my shoulders. She's standing. Okay. First impression I'm getting is water. It's not. At first, I thought I was going to be rinsing my hands, but she's standing near either this was a fountain, running water. This is. Hold on, let me see if she goes any further. She said, "This is going to go quick. Keep up." She's very funny, and once again, I don't. She's got a great sense of humor. This. The freedom she feels. The freedom.
Yeah,
she said, "This is fabulous."
Yeah, she didn't like being here very much. She loves it there.
She does.
Yeah.
She only has a few minutes because she has to get to work. Hold on.
Yeah, she's with a lot of people all the time.
She is.
She's smiling huge right now.
She works. She has two sort of jobs. She helps people step over.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure.
She's kind of like this. Come this way. Come this way. But she also works in the Hall of Records.
Oh, interesting.
She helps with clarity about especially when people in our sleep state go to the other side. She sort of she's not the librarian. What would you call her? Because her clarity, even on Earth, was she could tell you within about a sentence, like either stop doing that or
she could fix all your life's problems
in about 3 sentences.
When I was in high school, we'd be all hanging out in the pool, and suddenly would come up for air and realize I was in the pool by myself, and I would look in the family room, as we called it then, and my mom would be sitting in her Barca lounger, and everybody would be sitting around her. It looked like a cover of a Highlights magazine, and everybody would be asking her questions like, "What should I do about my boyfriend, Mom? Where should I go to college, Mom?" Everybody called her Mom, and people would be like, "God, your mom fixed my life in like 5 minutes."
Well, she like literally undoes their life path, going, "Now here, you need to pay attention right here. This is going," and she's the liaison between their team and them, especially for people who don't know about their gifts. She steps around that,
right? Because it took her so long to come out with hers and to tell the truth.
She wants to talk to you about the house for a second.
Okay, I know.
There's some stuff about the house that she wants to, and we'll talk about this a little bit later.
Okay.
Because she has some definite ideas, especially about the stuff in the garage.
Okay.
Make sense?
Uh-huh.
Because she has I'm I can call her Lena. Thank you. Or Mom. She doesn't care. She doesn't see him. He's not in the same place.
No. She and my father are not together.
No. And that's fine.
And funny because she knows he comes to visit me sometimes, and I pretty much told him talk to the hand. But they are not together.
Yeah.
No, they're not in the same
fact,
place.
She's saying
So much for Hitler went to heaven.
He's in another part.
Yeah.
He spends
The part with flames and a pitchfork.
He spends a lot of time in therapy.
Good. He should.
She does want you to know, in his way, he did love you.
Okay.
But she in his way. So
I'm making that face a cat makes when it smells something bad.
Yeah, but because and she says, and she understands that all is love, but
yeah, I think in everybody's way they think they love you.
Yeah,
I think Manson thinks he loved the Manson family. I mean, I think everybody in their way they think they love you.
Now I feel like I'm standing at this. This isn't. Because I sort of know Huntington Beach. I hung out in Huntington Beach and Garden Grove and Seal Beach. This is much more. This is the East Coast.
Yep.
This is,
so the body of water you saw behind her, was it a river?
It felt much more like it was coming, like either a waterfall or a fountain. Like she was standing near a fountain. It was a real important moment for her.
I know what it was. It was Wappingers Falls. That's where she grew up in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was a river because she grew up originally in Louisville on the Ohio, and then she was adopted and lived in Wappingers. Yeah.
That's where she connected. I am covered in chills.
Because literally the house is right by Wappingers Falls. And I know that because I've recently become friends with, interestingly enough, the religious organization, a church, a metaphysical church, bought the house, the estate my mother grew up on, and has turned it into the Chapel of the Sacred Mirrors. And I recently had Allison and Alex Gray on the show and told them the story of how Mom grew up there. And that's their house now. They've turned it into a bed and breakfast and an art gallery for spiritual art.
I must go.
She knew about it because she knew before when she was alive that they were getting it, and she was thrilled. And they gave me permission to go and scatter her ashes there, where both my grandparents are there. So that's why she's in Wappingers. She probably wants me to know that she goes and visits Alex because they said when they were on the show, thank you. They said we think we see your mom on the grounds, and I'm like, I bet you do. Yeah. And probably my grandparents too.
Because it's great over. She's having the time. And I knew this in the 3D world we discussed. She had a trouble with mobility. She is everywhere. She loves zooming around everywhere.
And the funny thing is my mother was very agoraphobic, as I was when I was younger too. She hated travel, and she had horrible motion sickness. So flying, trains, boats. But now that she's dead, she's everywhere. She visits
everywhere.
Everybody. My friends are like, "Oh, my mom, you're with my mom. I was doing shaman work last night, and your mom was here." And then somebody else is like, "Oh, I was doing a pagan circle, and your mom was here." And then somebody else will say, "Oh, I was doing some medium work last night, and your mom was here." Yeah, I'm surprised she's got any jobs because it seems like all she does up there is play with people.
Well, she enjoys the fact that she can be everywhere all the time.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Oh my goodness, I'm a little humble.
Now you're gonna get visits all the time.
I welcome it. Boy, her energy is way.
Isn't she something?
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's interesting to me how many people it happened at Founders at the church service on Saturday. I've told so many stories about my mother that people feel like they knew her. Didn't somebody say from the podium, from the pulpit, somebody said something about, was it Keith that said something like we weren't all raised by Sheena's mom?
That's right. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Or Steve Peters when he was talking about being bullied for being gay. We weren't all raised by Sheena's mom. It's like she's become this sort of mythic figure, which is what she always was when she was alive to all of my friends when I was growing up. She was sort of this mythic figure of, well, what does mom think? And we would do something in theater, and she wasn't the teacher, and she was just kind of like the theater mom, they called her. She didn't have an official title. Nobody told her to do anything, and they would want to do something, and she would be like, well, what does mom think? And I think the teacher was sort of like, my professor was like, well, why do we have to consult mom? And then it got to the point where we would have after parties and things, and he would see her, and he would just start asking her, like, what do you think we should do? So, I mean, it was just something about her. She never pushed it on anybody. She was very quiet in life. She's much less quiet in death. She was very quiet, very shy. And she was never somebody who was like directing traffic at a party,
Mm-hmm.
but she would sit in the corner and people would just find her energy and go sit with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she would one person at a time, which I think is really the Christ path. One person at a
Absolutely.
time. You're helping people one person at a time and then hoping that they go out as Christ asked his disciples to. They will go out then and they'll help 10 people. And then those 10 people will go help 10 people. And then pretty soon you have the giant tree of life
Indeed.
of everybody connected.
Indeed.
So that's how she worked. So I remember that. And in my work and in my ministry, even though I'm a much more public person, I'm still trying to make sure that I know that what it's really about is you touch one person at a time.
Indeed.
So thank you for doing that. That was
Oh.
beautiful.
Well, and thank you for the confirmation.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Ooh.
Wappingers Falls. I'm going, Mom. She wants me to go scatter her ashes there because
Well-
I did it in Louisville. I have not gone to Wappingers yet. That's the next thing.
Here's our Netflix special, going to Lilydale.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think we
And
should?
stopping at Wappingers and
There
going to
you go.
Cosm and
Let's do
visiting
it.
Alex and Allison.
Why
yeah,
not?
let's do it.
There it is.
Yeah. And I have some friends who got a place in Beacon, and that's supposed to be, it's like an old factory town that's got burnt out, and now it's rebuilding up as a spiritual and artist colony. It's on the
How
Hudson.
fun.
My mom used to always say that one of the most enchanted, spiritually latent, and extraterrestrial latent places in the country was the Hudson River Valley.
Yeah, the Hudson Valley. You bet.
Yep. So, Ariel's with us.
Oh,
Welcome, my friend. How are
hello.
you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Nice to hear your voice. Thanks for staying on hold while we went through that whole thing with Mom's ring. I
Oh, my
appreciate
goodness.
it. Say hi to Paul, honey, and how may we help you?
So I was just going to see if you could do a reading. My grandpa actually passed this morning.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
honey, I'm so sorry.
Okay, say his name for me, please.
Kevin.
Kevin. Let's see if we can find Kevin. Mhm.
Our love and prayer, sweetheart, go out to your family.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
It is a tender time, and the death process. It's the one thing that all of us will share, and
Yep.
for those of us that work in the sort of business I do, it's not that we take it cavalierly, but it's that we work with it. So I do all my thoughts and prayers, and the next few days will be tender for you. The relief over there, once again, they're so busy when they first cross over because it is going home. There's a huge welcoming party of everybody they've ever known, his parents, other relatives. So he's sort of going through that process. Then from there, they go to a place called the scanning machine, and they get to go through their inventory of their lives. So if first of all, I can tell you he did cross over just immediately.
Yes, I was going to say that too, immediately. Yeah.
He just stepped.
I was going to
really
say, for some people, it takes 3 or 4 months, but he went really quick.
He truly stepped right on over and is kind of having a party. And it's in moments like that they wish they could turn around and yell back through the tunnel going, I'm fine. I'm good. Don't even worry about me. I'll be back in a minute. And so that's what I'm picking up is the joy and the freedom that he's having and getting to see all these people that he loves so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And wanting you all to he said that something that he gave you, not a thing, but an emotional thing, a spiritual thing, something that he told you or advice that he gave you has been important in your life, but is going to be super important in something coming up in the very near future. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's told me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes it's hard to think about it when you're right in it, sweetie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had he been ill?
Yeah. He had cancer and he's been in the hospital for 5 months.
Bless his heart.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
the feeling of freedom. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
Wee-hee, woohoo, running around.
Yeah, he
skipping,
does
running.
feel
Yeah.
tremendously free. Yeah, he said that he gave you a lot of advice,
Okay.
and that that he doesn't expect you to remember all of it or to listen to all of it,
Okay.
but that something that he told you is going to have to do with the next phase of your life. Are you thinking about changing like jobs, careers, paths, passions, something that's like really going to be what you do in the world that speaks to your heart?
I told him that I just got my license as an esthetician, my official permanent license.
There you go. Uh-huh. And he was thrilled?
Yes.
Because it's something that you feel very, very passionate about.
Yep.
It's actually going to go very well for you. While you were talking about that, the King of Wands also has a little salamander in the corner, and I just found out about salamanders are a myth. Were thought of as a mythical creature because back in medieval days, when they threw a log on the fire, salamanders would live in the rotted wood, but they'd crawl out, and people would go, "Oh my goodness, the fire beast!" So within this recent licensing and moving forward, you can't really see it because it's so tiny. I have these tiny tarot cards, but there's a wand that's got a lot of new growth. You're going to do very well. It's the King of Wands. It's not even the 2 or 3 at the beginning. You sort of have a natural knack for this, for beauty and wellness. So you could extend that with your spirituality into some nice healing with folks. So congratulations. Good for you.
Yes, I'm thinking about learning Reiki.
Perfect.
And adding that into my work.
It's a natural for you.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. Remember I said career path, passion.
Yes.
And that's what it is. It's like you're going to take a career and a passion and make it your path. The 2 things together are going to become your path.
Congratulations.
Good for you. But you see, that's the thing your grandpa wants you to remember because that was the thing you guys talked about. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep.
So he wants you to go on and be happy. You know?
Yeah.
Go keep on this path, sweetheart. That's what he mostly wants you to know. Stay on the path you're on.
It was hard because like when we got to say our goodbyes, he wasn't I mean his eyes were open, but we don't know. We think he heard us and stuff, but you know, he wasn't able to say his piece to us, which was kind of hard.
Yeah, that is
we got
hard,
to
sweetie.
say what we wanted to, and that was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is tender, and it's a moment. This is also my opinion, so take what you like. I've been with 3 people as they've passed, and it is the most amazing situation. It was not anything that I would have thought of. And so if you were there at the moment, you know, you kind of pop out of your body, and some people hang there for a few minutes. So anything that you said, they hear it. They absolutely hear it before they continue on their journey. So, and love is always heard. It's heard here. It's heard on Jupiter. It's heard, you know, further out into the cosmic field. So love always wins. Love never dies. So that's really what holds the universe together. So he knew that you loved him and that he loved you, and the freedom he's feeling is just amazing. So you have your journey to go on now. And as I was working with a medium who far better than I, and I had mentioned something about when I lost my mother, and it was so profound. And in pure my mother style, she goes, "Oh my God, you're going to be over here in a minute anyway, so can we hold on?" And I'm like, and I took it to be like, am I going to be run over this afternoon? And you know, they don't have clocks or calendars on the other side, so they kind of, especially when in our need, people come to mediums going, "Do they know?" They're like, "You're going to be here in like a half hour. So, you know, we can talk about it then, because then we have all of eternity."
Yes.
So they're very busy on the other side, and your sweet grandfather's in the middle of a big celebration. So
Yeah. So look for more messages for him coming up in the next couple of weeks.
You bet.
Give him some time to get settled. But in the meantime, he wants you to know that path, that anesthetician place, sweet, keep moving in that way, sweetheart.
And spread that healing love that you got all over the place. Spread that stuff around.
Yeah. He wants you to, because he was somebody who always, I mean, whether he talked about it or not, he always was healing people. And just by just with his personality and just with the warmth that came out of him. And he gave a lot of that to you, and he wants you to really, and he's going to be helping you, he says, from where he is. He's going to be helping you on your path. So as you're doing Reiki on folks, you're actually he's spiritually giving you Reiki too. So you're working as a team, which is very common. My mom and I work as a team all the time. So yeah, you guys were really close, huh?
Yeah. We used to walk together.
Yeah.
Sweet thing.
He's crazy about you. And so he's going to become sort of your guiding spirit now, like your spirit companion. and help you with your
I'm
stuff.
glad.
So keep doing the Reiki, sweetie, and let us know how that's going.
Absolutely.
We love you for the call, and we appreciate it. And wow, Paul, so many folks today. What, 3 so far they're stepping into becoming light workers?
Isn't that amazing?
That's beautiful.
Woohoo!
That's beautiful. 3 for a show. That's pretty exciting. All right, so let me check the phone. I got to figure out who's up next.
Well, it's interesting. Well, we'll take this minute. I've
Please.
gotten to, and Sheena and I've talked about this. I've worked at 3 really haunted places.
Yes, you have.
Yes, I
The
have.
Stanley Hotel.
I did.
And the Queen Mary.
And the Queen Mary and the Comedy Store here in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
my God.
Which is just stuffed
Lucky
with,
you're still with us.
But the difference between ghosts and spirits, I think, is fascinating. You know, ghosts generally, thumbnail sketch, don't know they're dead. It is people that sometimes, through whatever their life ended sort of abruptly, that they as we talked, you know, God forbid, we're sitting here and there's a rush of air. Now, Sheena and I can still see each other, but the building is in, you know, crumbles. So we can talk to each other. And then somebody comes in and they're looking for us and they can only perceive us as a cold spot. But you and I are still on the same vibration.
Yeah, exactly.
And so sometimes in that confusion, people will repeat the same actions. That's why you'll hear ghosts walk down the hallway. They walk down the hall. They're still trying to figure it out. Spirits, on the other hand, have crossed over. And as we heard, sometimes if you've passed and you've been very ill or it's been a really difficult time and you pass, and once again, you wake up in this marvelous place, the first thing you want to do is, I should tell him I'm okay. So sometimes people will have the, you know, grandfather standing at the end of the bed, looking fabulous, just letting you know, hey, I'm good. I'm good. Spirits usually always come back with the information of, I'm good, I love you, I'm fine, don't worry. Ghosts sometimes, and the reason you can tell the difference, ghosts are sometimes incomplete. The last soul memory they have was of they're holding their chest, they've been shot, or there's been a car accident, or I had
talking in broken emotions.
Yeah.
Sometimes just weird emotional input is coming out of them.
It hurts, this bang, you know, or
yes, exactly.
because it was so abrupt. Yeah.
So is it just that?
So that's the difference between ghosts and spirits.
Yeah, ghosts can be a lot if you're not prepared for them. It can be a lot. It can sort of, you know, I liken it to sort of the homeless folks who aren't too well in the head.
Indeed.
Not all homeless folks, but some homeless folks are not well in the head. And you walk by and you're like, you know, hey, how you doing? And they want to, like, you know, scream out a bunch of stuff. There was a dragon and it was talking to me and we're all going to die. And sometimes spirits are like that because there is trauma. There is an unwillingness to cross over. The natural thing is to cross over. So if you're staying here, you're really kind of white knuckling it, hanging on by your toenails, refusing to cross over for a reason. And usually it's because there's a certain amount of angst of some kind that's moving through you. So ghosts can be a lot. That's why we always tell people protect. I'm going to Dallas. If you're in the Dallas area, I'm in Dallas June 28th through 30th teaching a seminar.
Nice.
And one of the workshops I'm teaching is about spiritual protection. And I'm teaching a workshop on spiritual protection. I'm teaching a workshop on raising your vibration, and I'm teaching one on how to be happy in spite of being an empath.
Yes, indeed. And can't we all use a few pointers on that?
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Because, you know, it's hard to feel everything and find a way to filter out the negative stuff and just keep the positive stuff.
Well, within that, find out what's my stuff and what's your stuff.
Yes.
Some empaths actually just join their energy and then, you know, I used to do a bit when I was doing stand-up a lot going, you know, I've got to get home because my wife really is upset and the children. Wait, that's not my life at all. I've absorbed somebody else's whole life.
Oh my God, that's fantastic! I love that you did that as part of comedy. That's wonderful.
Wait a second, that's not my life at all. I'm
the
a gay man
Empath Comedy Review. We're getting Susie on the line.
Oh, excellent.
It's the Empath Comedy Review. That's our next thing. The Empath Comedy Show.
I'll join you at the Improv. You bet.
No, it's okay. I can feel that you guys don't like me. It's all right. Don't even clap because I can feel you all, and you're saying this bitch is not funny.
Wow.
Susie, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Fine. How are you guys?
Wonderful. Say hi to Paul, and how may we help you?
Hello, Paul. How are you today?
I'm very well, Susie. Glad you're here.
I've been listening to the broadcast and just thoroughly enjoying it while I'm working.
Oh, I'm so glad, honey.
I have a new job, and this seems to be something that kind of fell into my lap, and was wondering if you guys could give me a read on it, about the success or longevity, or this is temporary, or what do you see?
I'm loving it. I feel like it resonates really well with you.
Give me 1 second here. I'm loving it too. You know, you were
Tiny tarot's coming.
I have my teeny little cards here. 1, 2.
They're so small and carry such a big meaning.
Oh, bless your heart. They do.
Right? They're so little.
Oh. Well,
it's a wee little thing.
It's a wee little thing. These 3 cards are interesting. Part of it is the star is about coming back into balance. So this job is helping you catch your balance. She has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, pouring water into the water and also on land. So, and also a star you have to look up. This was a raise in vibration, as we were talking about. The devil here is interesting. The focus of this, sometimes this can be about darker things, but I don't catch that in this instance. This is reminding you that it shows that, a very scary sort of person and 2 humans that are being held with chains. They're saying some of the chains that you have about not just this job, but about work, pull those collars off. Enjoy. It's okay to enjoy this. It's okay to enjoy it, because the Page of Wands, and I love the energy of Page, that's always that wonderful time in our lives, like 13 to 17, where you go, I could be an astronaut or a fireman, but I have to be home by dinner. It is that the lovely optimism of that you've had the thought and it's happening, but young people don't know that there may be obstacles in between. And in this instance, with these 3 cards, that there are no obstacles, because this fresh new job is exactly what you were looking for. And nice. This is the card of work. The 8 of Pentacles just shows a man working with 8 of the coins. This is going to be an 8 turned on its side is the symbol of eternity. So this is going to be a nice roll. There's a nice amount of money, and it's a nice growth. So congratulations. Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
It was kind of dreamy. The 7 of Cups shows a man looking at 7 chalices floating on a cloud. So it's also been kind of dreamy for you. I love that.
I feel like it's much more, it resonates emotionally and spiritually a lot more than your last job.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to take a reading on it, because I'm kind of getting gun shy with these jobs coming at me and then all of a sudden not there anymore. Here it is, then whoop, the rug out from underneath my feet. And, when this came up, I was like cautiously optimistic, I guess. So.
But I think a job is like, sweetheart, a job is like a relationship. You can't expect that it's going to last forever. It's everything lasts as long as it's supposed to last. So you have to you can't go into something and you can't start a new relationship with somebody and the first week all you're thinking about is, when is this going to end? You just can't go through life like that. And so you have to keep kind of an open optimism to, well, gee, I hope that this lasts, but I understand if for some reason it doesn't, then it's not what was on my path, and that's okay. And I will continue to be a happy person and live my life.
Well, within this also, I want to say, this is, if you were having a reading with me, one of my first questions is, how's morning meditation for you?
Yeah, not.
Meditation is something that I need to work on.
There
yes.
You go. And I'll tell you about it.
It's interesting. The both of you are going to love this, because the new job is doing IT work for my church, which is Unity.
Yeah, beautiful. That's great.
So
that's what I said. It resonates a lot better with you. That's what we've been saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I think is interesting. So doing morning meditation, and I will give you, for all who are watching, there's the world before my meditation and the world after. And you only can get there if you, as Sheena and I talked about earlier, going through it. So mine's less than 3 minutes. I've done it probably almost every morning for 37 years, and it goes like this. Spirit had told me that when I start, I sit on the edge of the bed. One time I used to get very Catholic about it and kneel down next to my bed and be very dramatic, but I'm 61. So I sit on the edge of my bed and I say the date.
Okay.
Today is June 18th, year 2019. This is the only day I have. The past is over. You cannot reanimate a corpse. And tomorrow is none of your business. So within today, as the sun makes his amazing march, as he has done for millions of years, today I had no idea that you and I would be having this conversation. So that's a gift. Within these hours of daylight that I have, this is my living today. And then tonight, I will sit down in the very same spot. Oh, and then I say, right behind it, just because of the work I do, I go, reporting for duty. Because I should have been dead a long time ago. I faced AIDS, alcoholism, and 2 emergency landings as a flight attendant. And I work in stand-up, so I've died a lot.
Yeah.
It's living.
And you're part Irish.
And I'm
That's
part
why
Irish.
you're still alive. We're hard to kill.
We are. And so within that, then I go off in my day. And then tonight I'll sit in the very same spot and I will say thank you so much because it was an amazing day. And by the way, I'm off duty. And I go to sleep. So things will change there because the idea of, sure, it has been shifting, but if you'll notice, look how beautifully you've been taken care of. And within this, getting to work for such a I have such deep respect for Unity. It has helped me in some very dark times. And, And
I agree.
In fact, you will understand this. I'm so glad we got to. Emmett Fox, who was dear friends of the Fillmores, wrote an amazing little pamphlet called The Golden Key. Are you familiar with it?
I am.
It has literally recently been so important to me. I have been golden keying everything. And for those people that aren't aware of it, he talks about the golden key, about whatever your difficulty is in life, whatever you're facing, lawsuit, loss of a relationship, worrying about a job, the golden key quite simply is you turn it to God. And you turn away from the problem. And I have a terrible problem of course I'll turn to God, and then I look over my shoulder like Lot's wife going, hey, how's it doing? No, the idea is we only
That's
go
how
to
you
God.
get smote.
That's it. It's smote. So I'm so excited for you. This is such a nice new opportunity. You can go ahead and relax. It's just fine. It's being taken care of
and
today.
just enjoy it,
this
sweetheart.
so much.
Enjoy this. It's such a beautiful thing for you to enjoy. Enjoy being in a good place, the right place for you. And relax and enjoy the other wonderful things that are going to come to you now. You know?
Yes, that's confirmation of what I was feeling. There wasn't this just huge enthusiasm of excitement and everything that came rushing in the other, like I had experienced before. And, I can do this and, here I go to make the day kind of stuff. And it kind of took me back. God's like, in the universe, like, I'm already doing that. I just need you to post it on the web. Like,
yeah,
okay,
I get it.
I got this.
Yeah,
I think.
I
need to learn WordPress, but
this is much more where you fit, sweetheart. This is much more where you fit.
I'm so proud of you. I could best.
Yeah, me too. And beautiful things are coming, my friend. And we thank you for calling us, and we love you. Please keep us posted. Let us know how it's going. Somebody once told me, Paul, somebody who's no longer in my life, and good riddance, once told me, you say I love you too much. This person said, when you say I love you to everyone, then people in your life who really matter don't understand that they're special and you really love them. So I instantly called my 2 best friends, Ellie Weiss and my other best friend, and I said, so when I say I love you to other people, do you feel like that means I love you any less? And they were both like, no. So, I mean, I think that it's important. I think that part of my job as a light worker and a minister is to always let people know they're loved. And I think you can't use I love you too much. I think it's so important to send love to people. Someone's going to take the time to come be vulnerable on this show and let us help them through their stuff with the whole world watching and listening so that other people can learn from their journey. You can at least end it by sending them a big ball of love.
Well, and love expands as you give it away. Do you know, there's just never an end to it. So when people, now I will tell you, those 3 words can be used inauthentically.
Sure.
But even if the messenger is using it inauthentically, the receiver can get the benefit just of the energy of love.
Absolutely.
So within you say it too much. Also, presupposing that there are special relationships. You know, as I said, most people come to me about romance issues. And my favorite question is when people go, "Is this the one?"
What does that even mean?
I always go, "Well, they're the one in front of you."
There's
if you want,
ones.
Yeah, if you'd like to use them as training wheels.
Right.
But it also presupposes that you're going to withhold love or withhold your best self to maybe spend it on someone else, and that the universe doesn't even respond to that.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't even know what
doesn't
that means.
Yeah, it doesn't even know what that means. So love the one you're with, love them all up, spread that stuff around. It's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. You're wonderful, my friend. Will you come back and we'll do this again? This was fun.
I will.
Where can people find you?
Oh my goodness, you can find me. I now have, and it just opened last night. PaulJacek.com. I have my very own website, and you can book with me there. PaulJacek.com. You can find me on Facebook. I am Paul Jacek Tarot Reader. And if you'd like to have a reading with me, I would love to be able to have the opportunity to read with you.
Aren't you wonderful?
Drop me a message there, or drop me a message at pauljacek.com. Isn't that a kick? And thank you so much, Sheena, for this.
Oh,
this
thank
is
you,
so
sweetheart.
marvelous.
Come and do this again.
I will.
Find us past broadcasts of this at WeLightworkersUnite.com. Also, I'm at IamRaisingYourVibration.com and at SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. Please find me there. My movement of peace, love, kindness, and unity is at IamRaisingTheVibration.com and RaisingTheVibration.org. I'm a staff pastor at the Founders MCC Church, FoundersMCC.org. Saturday Night Spiritual is my interfaith service there. We're at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. Please find me there. And I'm all over Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram, everything just at Sheena Metal. And of course, here on LA Talk Radio, hauntedplayground.com and latalkradio.com. Send me an email and I will gladly forward any information over to you for Paul about anything that I'm doing. Anything you need, anytime you need, you just let me know right here on Haunted Playground. Every Tuesday from 12 noon to 2 p.m., we're doing readings, healing, spiritual counseling, all things psychic and paranormal. Till I see you next week, stay spooky and make sure to raise your vibration. I would love that. I love you. I'm saying it again. I love you.